what are the biggest challenges that I face as a leader? So many. And while I advise organizations around the world through pressure, I also have a coach who works with me. And so some of the big challenges that I'm facing as a leader is how to find that sweet spot between being entrepreneurial right now while the foundation is moving under everyone's feet so that we can, beat our competitors and reimagine our organization. So that's kind of in the short term. Now, how long is the short term? I don't know, 6, 9 months, maybe more, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Because after this period, I really believe things are going to be exactly as they were before, essentially. But some of us will have been entrepreneurial and kind of changed our organizations to, kind of better meet clients' needs and differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. So while I advise that to organization, there's kind of two parts to think about: what's going on now, be entrepreneurial, and what's going to happen later, kind of, take this new organization and deliver in what I assume will be very normal. Because after 9/11, after SARS, after global financial crisis, things really didn't change that much. So the biggest challenge I have is, how do I do that in our organization? And in the last 4 years, we've been working on delivering our content, which is helping people manage emotions under pressure so they can lead more effectively. They can be better managers. And so the entrepreneurial tact we've taken is we've made all of our offerings, our online virtual offerings, live training in this work, free to our clients and to the public. We did this because we feel like people need our material so much right now. And also because we know that when people contact and get exposed to our material, it helps them and they want to bring us more into their organization. So that's what we've been doing. By the way, of course, the question was the challenges I'm facing. This is our big challenge, but I've just described to you what we're doing. You are more than welcome to take advantage of this offer. And so you can contact me here, or you can go here, and there'll be some really great information. So happy to share that with you, because we want to be a serving organization. That's very important to us. It has been for 20 years, and we want to continue for it to be. Who are the most impressive leaders that I've worked with or witnessed? So many people who you wouldn't know. And so I'm going to use somebody who you probably do know. Because this person I worked with when they were the coach at the Orlando Magic, Doc Rivers. For NBA fans, you'll know who this is. And if you don't, I'll tell you a few stories about Doc. I was working with the organization with him. He had won Coach of the Year, and 2 years later, they started off 0-13, and he was fired. And I'll never forget, he gave me a ring, and I flew down to Orlando the next day. We're at his driving range at his golf course, and kind of devising a plan. Okay, what are you going to do next? And a couple of things hit me. Number one is how public and how kind of, in a sense, it could be humiliating for someone, because everyone knows Doc Rivers in Orlando. He actually lives there year round. His family lives there, his kids. And so that was really hard. It was very public, number one. Number two, though, he thought, geez, I think the team stopped listening to me. And so I needed to continue to learn if I was going to be an effective coach. So what did he do? He traveled to other NBA teams and to NCAA Division I schools, and he audited practices Monday to Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, he was the announcer or the color commentary on ABC Game of the Week. But Monday to Friday, he would go and up his game. So this is a past Coach of the Year in the best league in the world, and he's upping his game. What a great message, right? All of us can up our game. That's number one. Number two, he went on, as you know, to coach the Boston Celtics, and they won the championship. And, he's just a class A individual. He goes to the Clippers, and, They had all of the challenges around their ownership group when he was there. And he, again, comported himself with a class that makes him probably the number one coach that players want to play for. And I can tell you this because I live in Toronto. Kawhi Leonard left Toronto after winning the championship, as you might know, and played, is now with the Clippers. And yes, he's from there. But Doc Rivers had a big reason, a big influence on him choosing to go there. How will COVID-19 change leadership and change the way we lead? I have to say I'm a huge optimist in general, but I'm somewhat of a pessimist. I think many people will go back to the way they used to lead before. I hate to say it. That's just my view. We wrote the book. I wrote co-writer on the book, Performing Under Pressure. We studied 12,000 people over 7 years. And I can tell you that, pressure, we learn a lot about an individual under pressure. And so there's a lot of people are being found out right now who are unfortunately a little more self-referential than thinking about others, who are not able under pressure to listen to others, are not able to be decisive. Remember we talked about last 8% situations, decisions and conversations. A lot of leaders who aren't learning from the fact that they're avoiding or making a mess of these difficult situations. And so I hate to be pessimist. I just want to tell you the data. I'm not optimistic that a lot of people will learn from this. And guess what? You shouldn't worry about that. You should worry about how am I changing because of this. This is a wake-up call. But that's only if you, and it's each individual, if you're willing to be woken up, literally. If you're willing to look at yourself and look and ask, what do I do under pressure? We know from a last 8% situation, when we face those most difficult decisions or conversations, we go to a predictable default behavior. We either avoid it or we make a mess of it. No, not always, not, everyone. But that's what happens when a lot of us are under pressure. And so you want to find out, what do I do of these two kind of binary choices, and then learn how you can be in that middle way where you don't avoid, but you don't make a mess, where you're still able to manage your emotions and listen to others, but be decisive. You have both compassion and empathy, but you have edge, the ability to do difficult things. That to me is the key here. So question, are you using COVID-19, which is a last 8% situation, a difficult situation, to learn and grow, to transform yourself? I think that's the key question. What advice do I have for leaders during this time? You can't do it alone. You can't. I'm sorry. We have this rugged, individualistic idea that we can do everything alone. You can't. By the way, this is mainly towards the men who are listening. I hate to say it, but we males have an even bigger default to thinking we can do it by ourselves, and you can't. What I would say, my biggest advice is go and get counsel. Get a coach. Get a guide. Get someone, and it doesn't have to be a paid coach, but get someone who you can talk with honestly about your worries, your concerns, your big decisions that you need to make. Look, I'm the co-founder of this organization. I advise people all over the world at some of the biggest organizations. I have a coach. I've always had a coach. And they help me when I have a big decision to make better decisions, because I have someone who I can talk about all parts of it, even the parts that scare me. And because I do that, I surface it and it ceases to have the power over me. So go and find someone. And that can be a really important kind of tool. One final note. Since the program, I've had a bunch of people reach out to me about the Last 8% morning podcast. And it makes me so happy. This morning podcast is something that you can do. It doesn't have to be in the morning, but it's a 15-minute walk with me in your ear, talking about all the things that you heard from me in the program. How can we grow our emotional intelligence so we can be better in these difficult moments, these last 8% situations? How can we use last 8% situations to transform ourselves, to become the leader we want to become? And it's free, of course, but again, go back, download Last 8% podcast. It comes up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and go for a walk. And it's a way to grow your skills as a leader. It's a way to, grow you as a human being so you can continue to become the best version of yourself. I've so enjoyed this program. Happy to answer these questions. I want to wish you good luck. I want to wish you good preparation and good courage. Have a great day.